Okay.
By
So
the way, you can only access half the turn when you're using Hikari and Tyrusu with the light skill specifically. So
alright.
you cannot hard clear it. You
Alright.
have to get a full or higher.
Fair enough. Anyway. Oh wait, I haven't sealed her yet. And let's take a look at the Beyond choice. So it's still the same. That design Arcaea. So does the note design over here indicates that the charter is actually the plane of Arcaea itself? Because at this point, with how the story goes, Talker like it acts like a sentient being. That's one of the things.
It's sort of like an extension of Hikari, but we'll find more about that in
Yeah,
Earthwish.
I'll probably need to get know more about the lore later on because I'm just gonna be muting this section because this is spoilers. Alright. Refuse fate. But there's accept Arcaea. Alright then. It wasn't long ago, somewhere dark and cold, a barren, empty land rested in silence, newly cold and newly empty. Under a sky laden with dense clouds, the green leaves and red flowers had turned gray, and only the footsteps of the living remained to tell what they all had there. White now fell from the heavens and covered up their steps. No snow fell, only ash. All had frozen, and winter had yet to come. Wow, way to put that reference. On the ash and the ice-covered earth, on her knees was a girl with her neck craned up to face what light now bled through the gray. Her eyes were wide and staring. Before that light was an angel or maybe a god. There was no home to turn to. Her mother and father were dead. Her guardians were dead. Her fellow fledgling shapers were dead. Her people who had always scorned her were all dead. All that remained of what she knew was a shard of glass in her hand, a fragment from her window. But still, perhaps there was a chance. She was chosen and special. She was young, but learned. She only had to try. If she tried very hard, there was perhaps the smallest chance to reverse time's flow, to strike back, to even maybe turn into a sort of god of herself. Thinking she could stop all of this, thinking she could bring everyone back, the girl looked at the shard of glass in her hand and wished to save the world. However, she could not. Will alone cannot create strength from nothing. She had all the will that one could imagine, and her will was worthless. Knowing that, she began to cry. The will of the god above was worth more. Its wish had been for her and her kind to vanish, fall, and fade into dust, and that wish would be granted in moments by its hand. The girl saw her eyes in her own reflection, and watched as the image became distorted with her tears. She could see her grief through her shaking jaw and her impotent, overwhelming pain. Nothing mattered at all, nothing she had ever done, and nothing now. The black-haired girl kept her head bowed as the angel descended. When it reached her, it raised its hand. And shortly, she was gone. That child's name is forgotten. The reason for her death were beyond her. Her life would not be remembered by anyone, but when she died, another wish took her away. It wasn't much longer ago than that. Somewhere warm, though still dark. She had made it dark. Another girl in another time and another place, with all names forgotten. She had drawn her curtains. She had locked her door. A chair was beneath the knob. She sat on the bed and kept her eyes wide and staring. She hugged her knees, staring. She stared into nothingness. She was overwhelmed by herself. A memory played endlessly in her head. She could see this view atop the stairs and vividly hear her parents' words whispered from beyond her side, saying anything against her, discussing her. It wasn't that they didn't love her. She could not love her because she felt that inside of her, something allowed her to love them. She very well could still see the view from atop the stairs. She had felt everything tugging at her to let go of the banister and fly to the marble foyer below. But what if it didn't work? The girl had managed to return to her room after that and quietly lock herself away. Why couldn't she disappear? Why couldn't she walk off into nowhere? Why were her thoughts like this? Why was her mind like this? Why couldn't she disappear? Her nails dug into her calves, her stare widened, her breathing quickened, and she wished that she could run away. The girl with white hair was troubled. The girl with white hair was a god. She was not troubled because she was a god. Her godhood was in her heart. She wished to refuge, and that wish was granted. Somewhere else where I can be happy. The girl with black hair died. Called her soul away. The world in another reality. A girl more powerful than her had made that wish. The white-haired girl was so powerful that it created a world with a meaningless name. Arcaea. It was a sanctuary meant to save the dead. Alive when she'd made her wish, she still keenly felt of death. She'd given not at all. In fact, she couldn't have thought straight if she tried. She only wanted something there for herself. It's possible, really, that if she knew the fate of those who wept, she would see herself as not a very good thing. The world reached out to countless across time, across separate realities. It was alive, and though it had no thought, it nonetheless wished to share life with those dead. Unguided, it caught any it could that spoke to its heart. In a spacecraft field, in darkness spotted with soft and distant purple starlight, so many souls were wrapped into the weave and brought to a new and shining border beyond the planet, world of white. From there, the world made a perfect imprint of each and also released each. It gave each imprint a warm place, gave them a new shape. It gave them infinity to view and relive endless life in safety, but it could not truly save its maker. It was able to take true souls, bring the doubles into new bodies, releasing those first souls to whatever else awaited them. However, the soul of the one who would be known as Hikari was fixed back in its first form. She was still alive. Arcaea instead forced a copy of that soul as best as it could, and much later, a soul more tragic than any other it had yet to find, similar to its mother's. Strangely, that soul could not be properly kept either. When released, it could not leave the false world's border like the rest, and so began to watch its copy of the new white earth instead, tied it in a ruined tower. Oh my god, it's Alan. Wow. And time passed. Unthinkably, one of the saved had threatened everything. But mercifully, the one who had made this all returned, and soon the world was safe. Arcaea was only crafted to exist. It had called out to its maker, and that maker had heeded that call. Like Arcaea, monitor for the shards. Like monitor to swallow up any anomalies that fractured its fragile existence. So now it exists and has existed. It has existed ever since for over 1,000 years. The red blood that stained the earth was erased, leaving behind pure white land. The body was burned away. Warmth filled every. I grew bright. The pearl and nearly endless landscape came together again, and now a truly beautiful world, dotted in figures of who chose to rest in the land of endless travel. They chose to be frozen and to stare eternally into this world of the. And if they are thinking at all, it is of a very distant past, and that was surely the better choice. That was surely better than walking and watching other places forever. They must be happy. They need to be. Arcaea had nothing else to give them but that choice. The world buried in between, and escape was, and any realms outside of it were outside and could never be. So the girl with a blade, the traveler, the girl, they are angelic figures, and the glass shards of Arcaea often too. They gather along walls and pillars in great and plentiful formations, like crystals, like corrosions. This beautiful world is overseen by a god. Above it all, Hikari watches it passively and remembers. Everything other old worlds have forgotten, she sees them with marginal warmth or interest, and indulgence of sorts for the mind of a faded and listless god. Maybe she has transformed. Who she was and who she is, she must be higher now. She cherishes a truth she can only pray that others would understand. If they would not, she has only chosen to watch the world. Yet, though she watches it passively, she knows that she has given them everything. Outside her purview, a philosopher and satellite wander. Beneath it, a horned woman tends to precious memories. A woman with a flower in her eye nudges through silent lands. It is vain. It is vanity. Arcaea now is vanity. And that is better than the alternative. Better than the world which spits at you. Better than yourself who loathes your very way of being. Living to love being alive and succumbing to vanity. Reality, in all of its facets, is an empty, worthless, and inconsequential thing. The only thing no one could ever want would be to take what one can out of it. And take pleasure, take love, take hope, take power. And with it, Hikari believes this. No one has no need to do anything. Take, live, and sincerely love being alive. Love that. Though not even for 1,000 years, nor even 1,000 more, will life ever mean a thing. After all, reality marches on with no discernible end in store, and Arcaea, specifically, was never anything more than a vessel for memories. Incorporeal, contained, silent memories, while the outside remains unseen, unnoticed, and uncared for. And those memories will exist forever here in that silence, together with those lost lives Hikari has saved, and with her turning no eye to those lives, as always. Because here there is no memory unseen, no emotion not felt. This is all which light shines down upon, and which light grants. It is for happiness, it is for eternal peace. Unlike in any life you might have left behind, this she loves, this Arcaea. Given to lost lives with neither favor nor condemnation. And so, like this, the wheels of fate here continue to turn, while no destiny waits beyond. A fading light awaits you in a closed world of forgotten conflict. Alright then. Thank you for you guys who have joined me until the end. There is still one more to tackle, and that is Kalima Karma. Though technically there's still two more videos because I really need to play the beyond of this. Other than that, that's it.